Kaitlin Ferguson and I'm an environmental artist. I'm launching a video series in collaboration with Marketplace that's going to be all about creating artwork inspired by the environment and in particular the Fenland region that we live in. These videos are going to be all about kind of creating pieces of artwork and that are in response to the Fens. And they are, as with all of the work that I make, about better connecting us with the place where we live in. My practice is varied. I create a lot of sort of public sculptures and public artworks, but I create a lot of participatory projects. So I work with people of all ages and I work across all of the Eastern region to create different art activities that can connect us with the places where we live. The video series is going to be a guide through various art activities which you can do at home. And they're going to be really straightforward and art activities that you can do just with materials that you have around the house. And they're going to be about finding creative ways to kind of open up your noticing of what's around you and the species that surrounds you, as well as the different environmental stories that exist around the regions where we live. Today's video, I'm going to show you a couple of my artworks that I've made in response to various environments. And I'm going to start you off with your first kind of art challenge to get you thinking about creating art in response to the Fens. So I'm going to talk to you firstly about a work that's called Connect. This was made in 2019 and it was commissioned by Marketplace. And it was a site-specific sculpture that was installed in Brandon Forest as part of their Tales and Trails Festival. This sculpture was inspired by the amazing array of tree species that exist in this forest and the biodiversity there. It was inspired by Mycelium, which is a sort of fungal underground network of sort of white, they're almost like hair-like roots that connect not only the same species underneath the sort of forest floor, but also connect different species. And it's the way that trees communicate with one another. They send nutrients, but they also send warnings if there's various sort of infections or different things that might influence the forest in some way. So what I created was a series of suspended rope geometric structures that you could walk through, and also kind of lightweight suspended geometric metal sculptures as well that were suspended. And what these did is that they were a very subtle way for you as you walk through the forest to be able to see the connection between different species. And so it was a very sensitive artwork because it made it was fully suspended and it had no effects on the trees itself. And it was temporary and it was suspended and it was taken down. And that's really what I believe in my artwork, that it shouldn't overpower the landscape, that it should add something to it. It should help the viewer focus on the amazing natural wonders that are around us. Another work I'm going to show you is a piece that I made. It was called a Restless Earth. And this is a single image of it. And this was a part of a kind of wider installation. It was a work that was installed in Edinburgh at the art festival. And this is a piece of Louisian gneiss, which is a kind of 2.5 billion year old rock. And as you can see, it has loads of almost kind of like plasticine-like squished lines within it. And a Restless Earth was a label that was that I hand printed, a piece of poetry that sat alongside this rock. And it was part of a wider installation that had 12 other rocks in a kind of museum vitrine. And really what this work is about is my interest in deep time. So deep time basically means kind of thinking not the sort of timescales that we think of as within a human life scale, but instead thinking of planetary time and thinking of kind of 4.5 billion years cycle of the Earth. And for me, this rock, even though it's a stationary, solid thing, it's actually something that across deep time is in motion, and it's a very active thing. And then these lines, you could see the great forces which have squished it together to form it as it sits within the present day. So each one of the labels that sat within this museum vitrine were actually kind of bits of poetry, and they were windows into these different rocks and the timescales which they exist in. And they were just ways to get the viewer to think about geology in a different context, and to think about geology and of the planet and also our place within that. So these are a couple of artworks, and now what I'm going to get you to do is to think about creating an artwork at home. So what you're going to do is create something that I use all the time in my practice, and that's called a recording card. And it's really simple. All you need is a bit of card, or you could use a bit of cardboard from the recycling, and if you've got it, some double-sided sticky tape, and stick a strip across it. Or if you don't have any double-sided sticky tape, you could always double up a piece of tape and stick it down. And what I'd like you to do is to take this recording card on a walk. And if you're lucky enough to live within the Fens, I'd like you to take it with you and to record and collect different things on your walk. So I use this as a way to collect small samples, or it might be of kind of small rocks, of grains, but it also might be of flowers, of leaves, of grasses, whatever it is. And I'd like you to bring that in, to take a picture and to send it in to us. And if you'd like to submit that, our hashtag is going to be #ArtAndTheFens. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you join us for our next one, where we're going to be looking a little bit more detail at the fen landscape and the elements of it that have inspired my work. And we're also going to be doing another art activity all about the Fens. So I hope to see you next time. Many thanks. Bye.